Hey everybody, welcome to Phonogenics 101. I'm here with the Stevie Nicks crew. We meet once a month to talk about Stevie Nicks' solo albums, and I feel like we have a really good time. Last month we talked about Rock a Little for 2.5 hours. This month we're talking about her fourth album, The Other Side of the Mirror. Before we go into that, thank you to my Patreon subscribers for throwing a little cash my way. Makes me feel valued. And then thank you also to the YouTube subscribers and to my friends here for talking about Stevie Nicks with me, because the world sucks, but Stevie Nicks doesn't, and we're going to talk about her. All right. So it was 1980. Oh, crap. I didn't do my route. 88 or 89? 89, right?
89.
89.
Okay. It was 1989. Prince came out with Batman. Madonna released Like a Prayer. Paula Abdul was huge. Janet Jackson was about to unleash Rhythm Nation, and the pop music landscape really was starting to move away from Stevie Nicks. I remember this being the first album because I loved Belladonna, Wild Heart, Rockalo. But by the time we got to The Other Side of the Mirror, like, I didn't buy this album for years because I've like on the cover, I'm like, she looks like she's on Dynasty, kind of. And this is when she started to wear like the bejeweled day like hats. And
Yeah.
her hair got like really big. And it's just for the first time since 1975, Stevie Nicks was starting to not be cool anymore. And I wanted to be cool. So I was listening to Paula, Lisa Stansfield. But after I graduated high school in 1993, me and my friend used to drive up to Warren, Pennsylvania, which was an hour away. And I had a friend named Rick Alba, and he was a big Stevie Nicks fan. And we started talking about Stevie Nicks. He goes, "You have to listen to Other Side of the Mirror. You have to listen to it. It's one of the good ones." So that was the first time in 1993. I'm like, well, shit, okay. So remember in like 93, that's when they started doing like the used CD bins in record stores, which was controversial at first. And The Other Side of the Mirror, this very CD, this copy right here, was $4.99 in the bin, and I bought it. So I'll talk a little bit later how this album, like, even a few years later, would change my life. So let's go around the panel. I've just really talked a lot. So everyone, if they want to introduce themselves and talk a little bit about their relationship with this album, let's start with Jim.
Okay. Well, I've been here since the Wild Heart, and it's, I'm from Sweetwater, Tennessee currently, and let's just get into Other Side of the Mirror. I was looking. I did my fair share of research and stuff on this, and when it came out, I kind of lived it. I remember. When I went to buy it, I was riding with my dad, and it was Stevie's birthday. I bought it on the 26th of May, and I think I told him, it's Stevie's birthday. I'm going to buy a record, and he was not very impressed with that. So that's one thing. There was a lot of talk about the Klonopin years during this. And, I listened to a lot of videos or, and interviews and stuff, but it wasn't until about 92 when she started really looking like her eyes just looked like she was just a zombie, So the period here between, after Red Rocks and, being in Betty Ford, were very productive. I look back and it's like Tango, the Tango tour, the Shake the Cage tour. That was a big tour. Did I write him any 69 days roughly on that? That's a pretty big tour.
Yeah. And
then the Red Rocks video came out about that time. I remember being on Good Morning America promoting that. It's like I hit record and watch that. This is, like you mentioned, she was changing her look, and I wasn't overly impressed with like the hair up and the you know, the little frilly stuff. You know, you know, what happened to like the hippie look Stevie Nicks, you know, that period. It's classic, you know, kind of, she went back to that, basically the bohemian look. Mm-hmm. So I remember that when that little interview promoting Red Rocks. And let's see, of course, Other Side of the Mirror came out. It was released May 11th, 1989. And, you know, it's right on the heels of a big tour with Fleetwood Mac. And there was a lot, she did a lot of promotion on the radio interviews. Like, there's a good number of them. There's a lot. You remember In Your Dreams? She tried, whoever would listen, she would talk to about In Your Dreams. It was quite a bit like that. And then there was the Behind the Mask tour. That was from March 23rd of 1990 through December 7th of 1990. Pretty much that was a whole year. I mean, and there was that video too. The Behind the Mask, that tour, that video, and like her cringy close-ups on that too. So, and then there was Time Space. That's in 91. That's like the following year. 24 or 23 tour dates. You know, July through August 91, a short tour. And then Behind the Mask DVD came out, and there was probably a lot of promotion, a lot of input on that, you know, reshooting and whatnot. And so that was a busy period. That was busy, like from the White Album through Mirage and everything. It was roughly that busy. It wasn't like that visible in the public eye, right. But they put in the time, and Stevie put in the time. So, but you know, after 91, she pretty much, I'm gonna, you know, I may find a lot of stuff she did there in that 92 to 94 period, the Klonopin, the bad period. There might be a lot of content I might discover and may change my mind a little bit there. But boy, I saw that 92 like an interview, and she was gone.
Well,
it's sad.
Maybe love will change your mind, right?
What?
I said, yeah. Maybe love will change your mind.
Well, I like that song though. I like that song.
Well said.
All right,
Charlie, this is your first time joining us. Tell us about you.
Well, yes, I'm very excited to be here. It is my first time joining. I am from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm 24, so this album is before my time. So are most of Stevie's albums, but I'm a huge fan. She's an all-time favorite of mine. I'm very excited to be here. I first discovered Stevie solo at 10 because my friend's dad had the Time Space CD in his car. And we went to a flea market, and I found the tape of it, and that was where I first heard two of the songs off of this album, Rooms on Fire and Whole Lotta Trouble. I didn't get the whole album until a few years later, but it's not my favorite Stevie album, but it is a good one. She doesn't really have a truly bad album. She's Stevie, after all.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just Stevie. I've been a fan for a long time, and my bond with her music has only strengthened over the years. Her songs just mean more and more to me each year. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Roland, welcome back.
Hi there again. I'm from Canada. I've been a longtime fan, and this record is special because it was my first time seeing Stevie solo on tour. So I did see the Other Side of the Mirror tour once in Saratoga Springs, New York, and the other time, 2 times at the Great Woods, Massachusetts amphitheater. Not my favorite record. I think half of it is brilliant. The other half is kind of like B-sides and filler.
Mm.
Sounds like we have a good discussion ahead of us here.
That's what you always say, Roland.
All right, Nathan.
Hey, everybody. Long time listener, first time caller. It's good to see you all. Charlie, nice to have a newcomer. What was the question?
What was your first impression of this album?
I think it's a terrific album. My top 3 songs on the album that I must comment on, if I don't comment on any others, will be Rooms on Fire, Alice, and I Still Miss Someone. Blue
Wow.
Eyes.
Awesome.
And I live in Portland. And back to you, Jeremy.
All right, Alicia, you've been with me since the beginning, Belladonna, and I was so worried when you weren't here the first couple minutes. When I saw your name, I was so happy. So welcome back.
Oh, thank you. I'm the only one, but let's see. Well, how do you put it? My initial opinion of this record is, okay, because I joined or found Stevie in 07, it took me several years to get through her her big catalog, I guess, what she's famous for. And at the very end, I bought this record. It took me forever to find it in the used bins. And by the way, Jeremy, I got mine for $4.99 too.
Oh, I love it.
Got off cheap.
So I even have it right here if you need the proof. But I mean,
Well, we got our money's worth, I would say.
Is there a cut?
Yeah.
Is it damaged?
A little cut in the corner, yeah.
Yeah.
this was the last one I could find in the used bin, so it took me a while. I think it was in 14 or 15 when I finally was able to find it. And the first time I listened to it, it's just different. It's more of a it makes me think of Belladonna in the sense that it has a unified musical sound to it, like Belladonna does. But I didn't quite understand all the symbolism that she was using. This is kind of a record, I think, if you were a fan at that time and you knew all the rumors and all the talking points, you could kind of go back and understand. So I kind of didn't grasp this record at that time. And it's interesting because in the last 5 or 6 years, I started pulling these records from this lost decade that Stevie's kind of gone out in the backyard and buried. And I was listening to this. This is really a good record. It's maybe not it's not up at Belladonna, but it's not at the bottom of the heap either. And I would have to say, since Nathan started it, my 3 would probably be Rooms on Fire, A Long Way to Go. And I like A Whole Lot of Trouble and Doing the Best I Can.
Oh.
Yeah, those are my 4 favorite off the record. You don't like that one?
We're going to fight. I'm kidding you.
All right. Well, Steven, welcome back. Good to have
Hi.
you here.
Good to see y'all.
Tell us about Other Side of the Mirror.
This is my first brand new Stevie album because I joined in 1987 with Fleetwood Mac's Tango in the Night.
Okay.
So I loved it back in the day. I'm not quite as fond of it as I used to be. Rooms on Fire is my favorite song on it. I also like Juliet and Don't Shoot Me, Fire Burning.
Yeah.
Cool.
And not the 3 that Alicia mentioned.
It's gonna be like a firing squad.
Yeah, this is the first Stevie album too
My
that had
goodness.
songs that I really didn't like on it.
Okay.
So I think there'll be a lot of polar opinions on this album.
Yeah, I anticipate this is going to be a very interesting discussion. So remember, when we start going track by track, use the raised hand emoticon or just raise your hand just so we can kind of keep a little order. And I will occasionally mute people if there's background noise when you're not talking. So don't anyone be offended. I'm just trying to keep the recording clear. So for Other Side of the Mirror, she was with Rupert Hine. Was that his name? Is that how you pronounce it? Who I recognize his name because he produced some songs on Tina Turner's Break Every Rule album, I believe.
Okay.
And Private Dancer.
And Private Dancer, right. And with that Tina documentary, I just had to say, like, I freaking love Tina Turner so much. And we need to talk about Tina someday, whoever will talk about Tina with me. And it's interesting how you discover these albums way after the fact. Like, my time with Other Side of the Mirror was 1997. And Tina Turner had a song called Wildest Dreams that I never liked at the time. And a couple of years ago, I'm like, this is the best album ever made. So
It's a good song.
yeah. Other Side of the Mirror, Stevie Nicks' writing is very, very poetic in a way it's not on other albums, I feel like. Like her writing is very ornamented, I feel like, and there's a lot of synthesizer. It's a very, she calls it her magic album. She was with Rupert Hine in a castle. She's on a checkered floor, and you know, it's like Alice in Wonderland, other side of the mirror. So yeah, I guess we'll just go into the first track. I remember sitting at my grandma Gloff's house, seeing the video for Rooms on Fire. It debuted, and I saw, and you know, this is the first time I knew a new Stevie Nicks album was coming out. And I remember not really caring so much. I'm like, she's still around, which I loved. I was a huge Fleetwood Mac fan, like Tango in the Night. Like I was there, rock a little, but something happened between 87 and 89 where the cultural shift was just big, and a lot of those 70s acts just really started to seem older, which, you know, it's just how it was. And I remember seeing the title of the album, Other Side of the Mirror, because remember on MTV, that would like be the artist, the song, and then the title of the album. And I just felt like I remember my first impression was like, well, that's a expected title. Like, you know, when people just start to become caricatures of themselves a little bit. And it sounds like I'm dogging Stevie because I love her and I actually love this album. So those are my first impressions as like a bitchy ninth grader who was listening to Like a Prayer like religiously, no pun intended. So my relationship with Other Side of the Mirror, I'm gonna tell a little bit more about my personal life, then we'll go into the album because, you know, I get that luxury as being the host. In 1996, I moved to Atlanta in this punk rock van. Me and 4 noise musicians just moved to Atlanta from Buffalo because I'm a musician. My music was doing pretty well in Buffalo, and I was going to move to Atlanta and become even more famous. Like that was the plan. Everyone I moved with got to bring like 1 box, and I brought like 10 boxes of things and my 3 mirrors because like I'm the Stevie of the group. I'm like, I need all my stuff. I need all my mirrors. We're moving to Atlanta. And things didn't work out in Atlanta. It turned out to be a very depressing time for me. And I had a Discman at the time. And the 2 albums that got me through that time is Other Side of the Mirror and then Fleetwood Mac Tusk, which was an album I never really got into either. And that's when I discovered those 2 albums. So Other Side of the Mirror will forever be tied to my life in 1996. End of rant. Thank you for all listening. But Rooms on Fire, here's the CD single. That is some hair right there, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right up there. It's tiny, but it's up.
Oh, okay. I love it.
You wonder the way her hair was on stage, it looked almost white.
Long that's white. Long that's white. Long that's white.
So of course, when Time Space came out, that was my first Stevie Nicks CD, and by that time I did love Rooms on Fire. I think Rooms on Fire is a beautiful song. Doesn't she say that's her dad's favorite song that she ever did? I feel like I heard that in an interview. All right, who wants to start off and talk about Rooms on Fire? I love it. I think it's amazing. The lyrics, the vibe, everything about it is awesome. Nathan.
Amazing. Thank you. I'm looking for the hand raise icon. I'd like to start just so I can kick sand over what I said a moment ago about Long Nets of White, which is the phrase about Long Nets of White out of my memory, right? It's in the bridge. I think it's a great song, very on brand. The whole album is on brand. I wonder what they were thinking or what the concept was with the cover for that single art that you showed a second ago. Because I don't mind the hair. It's you guys are all hating on the hair for some reason, but I always thought it was kind of great. So
I feel like she looks like she works at Fantastic Sam's. Roland.
But about her big hair, I mean, that was a style back then. Everyone looked like that. Look at the Heart, the Wilson sisters. I mean,
big hair, all the metal.
They were worse in their videos, like Dreams and Alone. I mean, they went to the extreme back then, so it wasn't only her. And I have to say, it's a great single. The video's great, and
okay, it's the last.
I just wonder about the song, because if you read the liner notes in, I think, Time Space or somewhere else, she says it's about Rupert Hine, I believe. And she made it sound really strange, like, oh, he would come in the room and the rooms are on fire, and then somehow he changed all of a sudden, and everything was not the same, and it left, this very scary moment. She made it sound very mysterious, and like something weird went on in that castle that they recorded the album in.
Right.
She said it was haunted. So.
But there's something about her relationship with him changing. Oh my God, he was suddenly a different person, and I had to leave the house, and long nights away cloud my memory now. I don't remember.
The only lyric I love is she dreamed of a wonton luxury. Like, what a weird lyric.
But great.
Great, though. This album is full of strange turns of phrases, unlike any other Stevie album. I'm talking a lot, but I'm inspired a little bit. And I feel like she was inspired making this album. I think the Klonopin hadn't quite kicked in yet. And I think she really was feeling this one in a way that she hadn't with Rock a Little. Nathan, I see your hand is up.
I would like to, I wonder what the crowd thinks. Like, what do you think, Charlie, Dreaming of Wanton Luxury represents? As a problem?
I honestly have no idea, but I kind of don't care because it sounds cool. I think it is a mysterious song.
Yeah.
And Stevie is one, you don't always quite know what she's saying. And interpreting it to me, sometimes it just seems like a waste of time almost, because I'm so just moved by the mysticalness of it all, I guess. I don't know.
Steven, I saw your hand up.
Yes, I always took it as a lot of this album, she was cleaning up her act and her public image.
Right.
Because it was after Rock a Little and the drugs thing, it was not common knowledge that she was on Klonopin yet from my neck of the woods. I learned that several years later when the internet came out. But she was really cleaning it up. She was more mature.
Yeah.
It was definitely she made me look forward to being 40.
Right.
When I saw this album, I thought that's a cool way to go into middle age. I thought she was fascinating. Beautiful too.
So how old was she when this album came out?
39-ish?
Okay.
No, I think 41 or 41.
Okay.
She was born in 48, so
48, and it was 89. It might have been
41 then.
40 going on 41 or something like that.
Her birthday's May 26th, if it helps.
So Steven, that's a great point. That is a badass way to turn 40.
Yeah.
I am that to him. I said, great point, Steven. It's a great point.
Oh, thanks.
About 5.
Does anyone else have any thoughts about Rooms on Fire?
Yes.
Roland. Then Jim?
I remember the song was very well received. She did it as the third song on her set, so it'll be Outside the Rain Dreams, I think, and then Rooms on Fire, and people recognize it, and she got a lot of applause. Whereas nowadays, when artists do new songs, people have not heard it, and they just kind of go to the bathroom or go buy beer. But Rooms on Fire, I think, because it got played before the tour extensively, and she was so fortunate enough to have a lot of airplay. I remember that song popular. People liked it on stage. Yeah.
Cool. Jim?
Yes. I was looking at the charts, and this song in particular did well in Europe and Canada, Australia. She did. It's her highest single in the UK ever of her solo career. So she's kind of branching out. She sounds a little bit more mature.
Mm-hmm.
I got a description here. This is more of an Anglo type album, other than an Americana album. It was more like European in a way, because Rupert's from, I think he's from the UK.
England,
right?
England,
Yeah. There's one thing I was watching, the first couple nights ago. I was watching the first 2 hours of MTV ever on YouTube, and Rupert Hine had a video on there, and I was listening to it. And towards the end, it was starting, hey, that's kind of like Mirror, and there's a couple performances. She did Top of the Pops. She lip synced, but she looked terrific. She didn't have that heavy black makeup. She kind of looked like she was without makeup. She looked really good, but she was lip syncing it, and it was fine. And then there was Rock Over Europe. That performance, she changed lyrics, a bunch of them, and she was into it. and it was a very good performance. She wasn't like into that Klonopin haze yet.
I need to write that down.
Yeah. You would, I think everybody would enjoy especially the Rock Over Europe, Stevie Nicks, Rooms on Fire. So,
Jim, if I may ask a clarifying question, is that the one where she threw the boat?
Yeah.
The bouquet or bouquet? I never know how to say it.
It hit the floor, and I think she picked it up and threw it again. It's funny. I mean, it was a good performance. I just felt good just seeing that she was, having fun and with the girls. Excuse me. She was singing to a backing track, but the girls and her were live.
Okay.
Very good. It was kind of like the Solid Gold with Nightbird and stuff like that. It was really pretty decent. The song itself, in the video, this is kind of where here's a woman, she's describing herself, and she's making it. The whole album is pretty much that point where she's making a decision. She pretty much made the decision of opting on having a family and a relationship. And in the tone, basically the whole album is, you don't want a relationship with me because two people are going to be disappointed. And that's pretty much the tone of the album. In the music doesn't sound that way, but really the tone and the deep, the meaning, when I was, listening last night, that's kind of what I got from it.
And I'm Single album for sure.
So,
right,
okay, I'm done.
Cool. We'll do Charlie, then Roland.
Yes. So, I don't know. Have any of you heard the Nixology podcast? It's pretty new, but it's a deep dive of Stevie Nicks' solo music.
Mm-mm.
So I was listening to it. They just did an episode on this album, and
oh wow,
the host Steven pointed out something very interesting, which was that it's crazy that Rooms on Fire was a huge hit, and people were singing along to it in arenas with lyrics like the one it had, like the ones it has. I mean, you have thousands singing about a dream of wanton luxury. Only Stevie Nicks can do that without looking like a fool, basically.
Yeah.
Other than like I Can't Wait and Talk to Me, she co-wrote this. At least she had a part in the writing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Stevie Nicks she can write, she can sing other people's material, but there's nothing more special on her material. It's a good song and it connects with people. I mean, that's just the ultimate.
Yeah. Roland.
Yeah, going back to what Jim said about it sounded very European. The record did very well in Europe, believe it or not. She got to go to France to tour. She toured in Germany, I think, and maybe the Netherlands.
And the Belgium, and just a good European tour. And that was good.
Yeah, I mean, places she would never go, but she went to Europe, and it was a big hit in Europe. Mm-hmm. And the British edition, I mean, it was so popular that if you buy the British Other Side of the Mirror CD, they gave you a little hologram. You see that? And there's actually, I'll show you this. There's actually a bigger one that came out. And if you flicker it right, properly, she smiles and her face looks like it's sticking out 3D. So they made cool stuff with that promotional tour stuff.
And wasn't there also an interview promotional record?
Oh yeah, the reflections from the other side of the mirror. Do you want to talk about that, or shall I? It's a hoot. That record's a hoot.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's basically Stevie Nicks answering questions from you. So she would have these answers, and then you pretending to be the DJ or VJ at a radio station or video station, whatever, would read these questions, and she would be on screen answering them to your voice. So it made it look like she came to your town to promote Other Side of the Mirror.
Interesting.
Okay, that's
really
okay.
You could buy it. You could find it on eBay. I think it's called the Reflections from the Other Side of the Mirror.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Okay.
All right, Alicia, do you have any thoughts on this song?
Well, what has not been said? I mean, it's a great song. I heard it on her Crystal Visions record, which was the first one, and it's classic Stevie. I mean, it's a great song. It fits with like everything else she does. She's talking about a love that it's like a forbidden love. It's something that didn't work out for some reason. But I mean, everything was just great. So I can't really add anything. The only thing that I'm thinking of is since Roland and Steve were talking about all the promotions, I think I saw on like eBay, they did like a mirror, you know, like those handheld mirrors that people used to have. And
I saw that, yeah.
And the other side, it would have the other side of the mirror to kind of promote. I think
that's
they
cool.
did a couple odd things like that for this record to kind of like tie-ins or to promote this. So that was what I was thinking when they were all talking. But I mean, what can you say about this? This is a song I wonder why she doesn't pull it back out on stage.
I know. Play it.
So, but yeah, I mean.
Cool. Roland?
Following up what Alicia said about that mirror, yes, that was part of a promotional set which came in a velvet bag, and she had a listening party at her Dutch castle where she recorded the album, and she wore that other side of the mirror cover dress, and she had all these music stars and film stars like Billy Idol and people like that visit and come listen to the record, and she gave these out as a gift to promote the record.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And what? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I'll say it after you're done.
I think this was her last major hit, because after this song, her songs that charted went to either the adult contemporary charts or the rock and roll charts or the dance charts for, like, let's say Planets of the Universe.
Right.
But she never charted really in the top mainstream, top 100, top 200 again.
Right.
Unfortunately.
And it's also because she wore the white dress in Belladonna. We all know Stevie to wear black, but her red dress was very out of character, I feel like. You don't see Stevie Nicks in a red dress too much, do you, before or after this album? I feel like it's pretty specific to this era.
She did green too when you saw her live.
Right.
There was an In Your Dreams era photo of her I saw in a red dress, but it's mostly from this era, definitely.
Right. Nathan, did you have your hand up again?
Thank you. Well, kind of not, but thank you. I just two quick comments. One is, the house that they filmed that music video in, as far as I can tell, has been used in terms of what's been filmed there, really for nothing except the music video and a bunch of porno.
Oh.
According to my research, it's an oft used. Jim, you know the research. You've stumbled on some articles or some I stumbled on some things online that indicate that Jim looked like he might have.
So those rooms really were on fire.
Just laughing.
Yes.
I get the
There was a wonton luxury. And the long nets of white may the prop.
Do you guys love the House of Blues live recording of that song?
Yes.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that.
Yes.
Yeah, that keeps it alive because I don't really go back to the albums. But when they have like really good bootlegs.
What about the extended mix? Like, isn't there like an 8-minute remix?
Oh yeah, there's a remix. Yeah.
I like the remix. It's very like gauzy. I feel like this is a gauzy album. All right. Well, do we have any other thoughts on Rooms on Fire? Seems like we all love it. Are we all in agreement for one time in our lives?
It's unfortunate that she doesn't do this song anymore. So there's a generation that doesn't know the song at all.
I know.
It's like when she did Seven Wonders. I mean, there were some people like, where's that song from? They didn't know Seven Wonders because it's from the 80s. And Rooms on Fire has not been done, I think, since maybe the Street Angel tour or the Time Space tour.
An American Horror Story brought
definitely was
back
done on Street Angel.
Oh, it was?
I like the bootlegs from that year.
We need a TV show to bring back Rooms on Fire, like American Horror Story.
It's become a lost song, and it's a lost song, unfortunately. She doesn't do it.
Man,
well, it's on her greatest hits records that she's released in the last 15 years, though.
Mm-hmm.
I could happily lose Stop Dragging My Heart Around for Rooms on Fire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Stevie Nicks.
We all agree again, Jeremy. It looks
we all agree. What else is there to say? Okay.
The next song.
Moving on. We only talked about that song for like 25 minutes, but it definitely deserved every second.
Oh God, really?
Long way to
Guys,
go.
I told Jeremy that I would trim these up for him. I told him I would trim them up and only give our best little moments.
Every moment's the best. Someone just had to sit through every second. It's like a Stevie Nicks demo tape. They got to absorb every second of our brilliance. All right. Long way to go. Stevie Nicks is pissed. I think she's mad at Joe Walsh, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Could be.
Now, in my first run of Other Side of the Mirror, before I really got into the album, this is another song I did like right away. I feel like that fire is back. That maybe had been missing for a little bit. She's definitely fully invested in this song. I love the line, we already did that, have fun, tell the world. Like, so dismissive.
Yeah.
This is such a bitchy song.
Yeah.
And I'm totally on board for it. So who wants to... and then we also have to mention there's an extended version of this as well. I do have the Japanese 3-inch single.
God.
Yes. That has a B-side that we'll talk about later, Real Tears.
Yeah.
Okay, and No Spoken Word live from Red Rocks, I believe. And then the Long Way to Go remix. All right, who wants to start off? Long Way to Go.
It's a good, strong song, and it was actually a single in the UK, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Did it chart?
Huh?
Did it chart? And
I don't think so.
Okay, they tried.
They tried.
I love it. I love it. It's an angry song. It's you know, Stevie just she's just letting loose.
She's letting loose.
It's just letting it loose. And okay, can I be any help to you? I don't think so.
Help him, help her, help him, help her too.
Yeah, it's great. The lyrics are great. The flow is great. The tempo is terrific. The guitarist, he's from the Fix, Jamie West Oram.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he played, it's prominent on that. I bought the Fix album Reach the Beach. When those weird videos of them came out, they're and she pulled him in on this project, and he had a lot of beef to this album.
I believe he played on Tina's albums too. Keeps going back to Tina tonight.
Okay, good. Yeah, if you're good, you're going to get some session work.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Rick Knowles. I have in the notes here. He co-wrote the first 4 songs of this album with Stevie.
Yeah.
So he's prominent, in the mix. It's that the musicians is there is not much more than like a half a dozen musicians on this record. It's the same unit, a cohesive unit, and that makes it a very solid album.
And I might be alone in this, but I feel like everything Rick Knowles touch turns to gold. Because
yes, he's very good.
My gosh, the Belinda Carlisle albums. He did Madonna's Ray of Light.
Lana Del Rey now too.
Yeah.
Rick Knowles is a legend.
Yeah.
Don't feel sorry for him.
No.
No, I mean,
I love
publishing his bank.
I love Lana Del Rey's new album.
Oh, I know.
Great. Who wants to jump in next on Long Way to Go?
Alicia.
Sure. Okay. I don't know. I feel like this song has several meanings for her with that long way to go. I feel like she's trying to pull herself back out from all of the cocaine and Betty Ford. So I've always wondered if that was some of it. I mean, she may be talking about her breakups, don't get me wrong,
right.
But it made me wonder if that may be that line or 2 lines as well. I've also wondered.
We're high in my life.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean,
Possessive was her love.
I feel like there's kind of an onion sort of song. You can kind of pull, gosh.
Even the opening line, like, can I be of any help to you? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I felt like where she was in her career, I feel like where she was trying to go up, I feel like her going through. I also thought about, and this is the other one, when I listened to it earlier, was all about Buckingham and him breaking up. That was, I felt like some of that may be coming from this song as well. You know, we thought we were good friends. Well, evidently we're not, and this, that, and other. It became very obvious. So, like I said, it's kind of, I felt like it's an onion sort of song where you're pulling back and there's several meanings to some of these lines.
Right.
But I love the tempo. I love the attitude. It's a great vocal. It's a great song. It's sad that it's kind of buried in her catalog at this point.
It could have been I don't know what format would play this, but it's a good song to just hear.
Can you imagine a concert opening with this song if she came out to that beat and that was the opening
Oh,
song?
that'd be,
Yeah.
I'd pee my pants right there.
Is this ever done in a show? I mean, it would work. It's a good band song, so it should work live.
And I love on the remix how there's some solo parts where the girls are doing their harmonies without Stevie singing, and I love that. That's one of the things I sing along to in the car. I love the lines. I think about you. I think about heartbroken ones. Have a few of those. I've been there. All right. Anyone else? I know we have more thoughts about. Okay, Charlie.
So I did look up the chart position for the song. It did chart on the rock charts in the U.S. It only made it to 11 on there. I just think it's a crime it wasn't in the top 40 at least, though, because it's such a banger. Why wasn't this a hit? Now.
Cool.
I'll
Anybody
add on
else?
to that. Yeah,
Okay.
no, I'll add on to what Charlie just said. I think, first of all, wouldn't it be fun if you were running the Stevie Nicks fan club hotline and you answered the phone? Hello, Stevie Nicks fan club. Can I be of any help to you? And if I can, you can talk to me. Of course.
I might be imagining things, but I feel like somewhere along the way, and this could totally be my imagination, she drove far, got in a fight, and left right away.
There was a late night limo ride baked in there.
Oh,
but
yeah.
usually-
Yeah. There's an interview. Yeah.
That's a standard ingredient. It's like, flour in a cake. It's going to be a late night limo ride is going to be there if it's post 82, And just a second comment on Long Way to Go. I think I think its position, 2 and 3. Number 2, I think its position in the sequencing is just right as a second track.
Yeah.
And third is I really think it's an inspirational song, and I've listened to this song and pulled it up in my library, like when I've because you can make it and you can do it one more time. That line in particular is the one that jumps out at me as really a
There's definitely been
source
times
of
in my life
inspiration.
where I needed some strength and I needed to make up my mind I won't be calling. So this song has been a good companion to keep me on the right track. Thanks, Stevie. Now, Steven down there, I know you like some of these songs. You don't like some of them. Where does this one fall for you?
Yeah, I don't like anything about this song.
All right, well, moving on then. No, I'm just kidding.
Fair enough. I don't want to bag on it.
You can. I'm just teasing you.
No, I just don't like anything about it.
What do you hate most? What do you dislike most about it?
The production. Like, I love a gated snare, but I hate the drum work on this song. I hate all the... I don't like anything about it. Down to her performance, to the lyrics. Like, it's one of the few Stevie songs I just don't connect with, and I make a Rollin face whenever it comes on and run over and jump it. Like, when you don't like a song, I like your reaction. You're like, that's what
Listen,
I do.
maybe
But a lot of people love it. I just don't get it.
Maybe psychologically you're just better at relationships than I am. And I hope that you can't relate to the song because you make better decisions. Because
I don't know. I like the rockers too. It just doesn't connect with me, this song, for some reason. Never did from the first play.
Any part of me that can relate to the song is not a healthy place. Oh. All right. Well, any other thoughts on this one before we move on to Bruce Hornsby? All right. 2 kinds of love. One that makes you walk, right? The other that makes you...
And the way you love me.
One between. So let me just say, before we go in there, I'm not a big Bruce Hornsby fan. That's about all. Roland, go ahead, take it away.
I love this song. I think, to me, it's my favorite on the record. The
Really?
music is beautiful. Yes, it is.
Wow.
And it was a highlight of the tour I saw because she did this song live with the guy who played the keyboards, Bobby Martin.
Okay.
And this actually was a second single, but it did not chart, unfortunately. And there is a different version of this song you can find on YouTube where Rupert Hine sings the whole thing with completely different lyrics. And I've jotted. I'll go quickly, but you know, it's like she goes, "Ooh, when on you run, you know, whatever." It goes, "Mistaken as she was, the pain has ended. You wanted this to happen here, understand it, etc., etc." And in the chorus, she goes, "No man is an island. You could keep your heart-shaped diamond." So the lyrics originally were very, very different.
Do you think it was a song that was fully? Do you think it's a song that was fully formed and he gave her the instrumental and she just wrote new music over it?
Oh, probably. Yeah, because it's I think Rick Nowels wrote the music and she just did the lyric writing.
Okay.
All right, who'd like to go next?
I'd like to jump in on this one quickly, succinctly. What I liked are the liner notes where she thanks someone. She says that, for such and such, there are two kinds of love, theirs and ours.
Oh,
and I just cried a little bit. The bridge is my favorite part of the song.
Oh, the bridge is beautiful.
When she talks to her famous friend and I forget how it ends, but strange.
We don't want a dove.
I was up 3 nights.
For their survival.
Times for their very survival.
That's the one.
So
Yeah.
the famous
And is it and third part, Roland? Is it Nowell? Is it Rick Nowels or Rick Knowles?
No. Rick Nowels? Knowles? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Knowles?
Okay.
You say potato, I'll say potato. Say
Fine, I'm sorry. Okay, I won't ask anybody about pronunciation. I thought I was.
I say Knowles, but who knows if it's
I think it's Knowles, but I don't know.
That's what I've heard.
I think it's Nowels.
No.
So can we? Who do you think the famous friend is? I'm gonna say it's Mick Fleetwood.
Tom Petty.
Tom
or
Petty?
no. Bob Dylan, because they went on tour.
So was Bob Dylan.
Yeah, she went on tour with him in the
The
Tom Petty.
Relatable tour.
Oh.
Who?
Was it the Australian
Charlie
tour?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was Tom Petty or Bob Dylan.
Cool. I do feel the song is very on brand with the album. There are some beautiful lyrics. I just don't like Bruce Hornsby.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Steven, do you like this one or not? We're gonna check in with you.
It's okay. It's got some good lyrics, and I like the bridge, like Nathan said.
I like the do. Like I like that little riff there.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very other side of the mirror. Does anyone else want to jump in about this song or Jim?
Yes, I think it may have done better if it was titled "Two Kinds of Horny." It might have got some attention.
Two kinds of Hornsby.
Ours and theirs.
Hornsby.
That's
Yeah,
outrageous.
2 kinds of horn.
I love the lyrics and stuff. I think the second part, that the famous friend last night, I think she could have really taken that whole paragraph stanza out and made it more relatable to your general person, and it might have made the song more relatable, so therefore more well liked.
Right.
It's so personal that, it's like, I don't get it. I don't have a famous friend. I'm sorry, so I don't care about the song. But the rest of it is great. I mean, the other lyrics are more the way you love me. And she said it's about one kind of love is sexual love, and the other kind is the beautiful I love your soul.
Platonic.
Kind of thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to say, Roland, I think maybe what you just said, it affects a lot of people that way. I think she loses a lot of her fan base when she talks about her personal life from the famous point of view.
What does it do with it, Stephen? What it does? What?
I think she loses a connection with a large part of her fan base.
I agree.
Like not the die-hard fans.
Right.
Like,
it's like Stephen King writing a book about an author.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the most. I haven't really seen this before, but
they bring up self-indulgence a lot with Stevie Nicks when they talk about her songwriting, and I think this is one of the songs or an incident where that comes out.
This is like a precursor to
Definitely.
That Made Me Stronger. This is where it all
Oh
started.
God.
Yeah.
This is where it all started.
Got
The
this
damn-
album.
Okay, Roland.
To me, the fact that this song did not chart, it was kind of like an omen of the things to come.
Right.
Like the other song afterwards, Whole Lot of Trouble, did not chart. She had no singles from Behind the Mask, and her career just fell after that. So I think that because the Two Kinds of Love did not chart, this was the precursor to everything else.
Yeah.
Mm.
And she started going downhill after, unfortunately.
Right. And the cultural landscape really changed. Jim.
Yes, it has a very adult contemporary type feel to it, and it's interesting where Bruce Hornsby starts the song, and I think Stevie has a tendency to sing really well when there's a male counterpart.
Mm-hmm.
She really puts into it, and it's kind of through her whole solo career, male singer, and then she says, "Well, hold my beer. I'm coming in," and
It's competitive.
I'm going to do this. It's really cool. A good male singer, and then Stevie comes in and blows it out. She doesn't really want to embarrass the male artist. It says, "Hey, I can do that too, man." So, and then it's a very sweet song. It's got, it's got the Kenny G is on it. And if you're a fan or not,
Nope.
it yeah.
Nope.
I mean,
sure not.
So it's a relatively good song. It's kind of the environment of that time. There was a lot of competition, and this wasn't a fit for, if it, in fact, it was released as a single, and people didn't get it. It's kind of like this whole record is that it's there's just solid writing in this and solid performing, and the band itself. This is a tight little album, but it just didn't click with radio people and the general public.
I feel this song has the glossy sheen. Those are the words that come to mind.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Last thoughts on Charlie.
Yeah, I kind of, to add on to what everybody else was saying, I agree with all that. I like the idea of the song more than I like the song itself, I would say. I like the idea of Two Kinds of Love. I think that's very relatable, but I think the song itself is kind of dull. I don't mind Bruce Hornsby. I especially love that song he recorded, but he wrote The End of the Innocents, which came out this same year, but I wish he did something more like that than this. This just bores me. It's not one of my favorite Stevie songs, unfortunately. Wish I liked it more than I did, but not my favorite.
Alicia, let's check in with you. What did you think of this one?
Well, it's a good recording. I mean, Stevie sings well. But I have to agree with Steve. I mean, I've always kind of sat down and went, okay, what are the two kinds of love? Because she doesn't really make it clear with the lyrics, I feel like. And
it's kind of cool.
So, I mean, to me, this is kind of a song where it's more clunky, I guess, with the writing. It's good.
It's a little clunky. That's a great word.
There's some good lines here. It's just
clunky.
I wish that somebody would have said, okay, let's try to rewrite this. There's some.
That's a lot of this album.
Well,
it's some of this album.
Yeah.
But I always sometimes wonder, and this is a bad time to ask, but what would Buckingham do with some of these songs from her solo?
I was gonna say, where's
you
Dave?
Say that you're not that. Would you tell Bob Dylan that?
Oh, just
well, I hate to tell Stevie, but we're seeing.
You need an editor sometimes.
Yeah, she needs a good editor. Stevie needs that push and pull that Buckingham gave her in Fleetwood. And that's what made those songs in Fleetwood Mac become extra good, and really kind of her classics are timeless.
And I heard someone mention this, but we are getting closer and closer to the forgotten chimpanzee, aren't we?
Yeah.
Stephen, I saw your hand up.
Jeremy, never forget him.
Do you guys feel that like Stevie and Lindsay had lost their creative connection by now, and he couldn't have saved her song?
Yes.
You don't even talk to
I don't think he could have done anything with these at this point. 10 years earlier,
Right.
they had a connection and they did some wonderful stuff. But
Yeah.
like he's filled a lot of her songs since.
Yeah.
Do you think they ever had the
I think
connection
it's like
again?
riding a bike.
Yeah,
Well, I don't
Tango
know
in
if
the
he
Night
could've done
has When
anything.
I See You Again. I mean, I don't think he could have helped too much here.
The last time they did it was Soldier's Angel. That's it.
I
Yeah.
don't think
That was good.
I thought
The
it was a
mixed
good song.
opinions.
Twister was good.
Oh, Twister. I love Twister.
Yeah.
I think
Twisted,
they're
Twisted.
good, but I think they could have been as good with anyone else producing. I feel like the Buckingham magic didn't really last past Mirage for me with Stevie's
Same
songs.
here.
For the most part, yeah. Yeah.
Like I feel like Dave Stewart could have produced Soldier's Angel and it wouldn't have made it any better or worse.
No, no one else but Lindsey Buckingham could have done the 2-note guitar thing. No one else. I just
It's kind of like the Chain a little bit.
If I can just Two Kinds of Love Us for just 1 second, I really just to boil it all down, I really think that that it's about are the two kinds of love sexual and platonic, or is it
Cocaine and Klonopin?
Is it Nick's Buckingham versus who's somebody who she did with who she well, I don't know. Some people say that she had an affair with Tom Petty.
Walsh.
The point is it a romantic thing or is it just a musical appreciation? Is it sexual platonic Two Kinds of Love or musical physical? You get my point. It's kind of A or B or C.
Our celebrity
You
versus
mean like a one-night
commoner.
stand sort of thing?
Right. And with Bruce Hornsby and Kenny G on this track, I'm going to have to go with E, none of the above. I like it, but I don't love it.
In an interview, she said this is about someone you cannot have. That's what she said in the interview this song's about. And where'd we go?
There he is.
I had to let my cat in the room. She was meowing.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Well, a few years ago, Jim sent me an article, and I actually read it when it came out, how track 4 from this album, Ooh My Love, was the lost Stevie Nicks classic. And I will say,
the guy in Rolling Stone said that. Yeah.
Rob Sheffield.
I've always loved this
You
song.
really like that song. I love the song. I think it's great.
Originally, the song was written to a Mike Campbell track that Stevie Nicks illegally stole that she wasn't supposed to.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Runaway Train.
Yeah.
Yep.
Runaway Train.
Runaway
On
Train.
Tango in the Night, yeah.
You can hear it on Tango in the Night, and she repurposed the lyrics, and thank God she did. I think "Ooh My Love" it's it's got a glossy sheen a little bit, but the songwriting to me is irresistible. Like the harmonies, it's very grand. It's almost like a castle itself. I'm a big fan of the song. I've always liked it. I still do. Who wants to start going? Steven. Oh, we have a thumbs up.
Yeah, that's it. Thumbs up. It's a good song. I like it. Yeah.
The lyrics are very Other Side of the Mirror again. She has those very like gauzy, poetic lyrics. It's because the original version does have about like castle walls and stuff, and it's interesting that she did end up recording this album in a castle, so it's almost like she was foreshadowing where she'd be a couple years later.
I wonder. I thought Steven was starting, and I got excited. He's going to kick it off.
I just did thumbs up. That's it.
Thumbs up.
No, I understand. I think it's a fantastic song, and again, I like the bridge. And I wonder who the subject was, whom she spent all her time with in the chamber. Who was that person, and what recording studio was that? Is what I think is most interesting about the song. But again, she's a great songwriter in terms of the universality of some of her lyrics, and I think this is one of them. Where if you've ever just spent 2 or 3 days in a room with somebody doing whatever, playing cribbage or whatever, then it's a relatable idea, So the bridge is my favorite part, and I wonder who the subject is.
I do love the lyrics. It was a strain on her watching the castles fall down. Aw.
Might have been about Rupert. That's been mentioned in interviews. I mean,
well, we think we can rule that out because it was written in about 85 or 86 because we have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
we
right.
have it on demo for Tango. Somebody.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It says 89.
We all forgot that.
89 on the.
Okay, sleeping.
It says 80, 89, 1989 in the liner notes. But
okay,
if there's older stuff, that's good.
And I never-
It was released on the Deluxe Tango album in 2017 as an unreleased track.
but it never leaked before
okay.
that, which is cool.
Yeah.
Roland.
I think this should have been the single.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like instead of
That's
a whole lot of trouble, or even the second single instead of Two Kinds of Love. And actually, there's a YouTube rehearsal of Street Angel, the tour. This was one of the songs considered. She does a live version, a recording rehearsal of this song on the Street Angel rehearsal sessions. And I love the percussion, the way the song starts off.
Yes. Live, it sounds good.
and Nathan
It
sent me a
sounds
message.
good live, yeah.
We definitely have a slap bass going on there, and you know what? There's only 2 times in life I don't mind the slap bass: the Seinfeld theme and "Ooh My Love."
Yeah.
I don't have too much to say about this song other than I love it. I just think it's beautiful. Charlie.
This one's my favorite on the album, I would say, and I agree it should have been a single. I listened to it. I imagine the music video in my head. Like, this was a perfect opportunity for a music video right here. They messed up on this one, I think. And just the part when she sings "It Was a Strain on Me" changes the perspective. It's just,
Oh yeah.
hits me every time. This song is perfection. I agree with Rob Sheffield. It's a lost classic. This one's up there for Stevie. It's a classic.
And put it on the. If she would have done it on the 24 karat gold tour, like, can you imagine?
Fantastic. Yeah.
I would
I
have
would have peed my pants a second time.
The bridge is hot too. Like that's how you do that's how she does sexuality well.
You know, like really, Nathan said, that there was a light that lighted the way.
That's what I said, Steve.
Or they spend all their time in the chamber. Like that's a really hot lyric, I think.
It's pretty fantastic. Yeah.
It's kind of like Undoing the Laces from Sarah. Like, she talks about sexuality in such a poetic way.
It's not sit on me.
Stay in your face.
And we're only 3 years away from erotica. By context from Madonna. Does anyone else who hasn't spoken have any thoughts? Oh, Jim.
Just a little bit. It's a personal favorite. It's a good one to escape to. It's just, you don't think of it as a song. It's just kind of a, and you're in the mood for it. You just listen to it and just, you go there. It's very, very romantic, very seductive. Very Stevie Nicks.
Alicia, do you have any thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's one of those songs that I guess it's not on my regular rotation, but when I do hear it, I go, oh yeah, we need to put this back into the playlist. I mean, it is a really good song. It's surprising that she didn't do much with it. My question, I always kind of contemplate what she's trying to say with this song. Like, what is her castle and why is it falling down? I've always wondered if that was her career, because that seemed like it was kind of going broke. She's hitting kind of, I wondered if that was Buckingham leaving Tango. Of course, as Nathan said, that kind of gets blown out when you find out that it was recorded during Tango, or at least worked on, and they put it to the side. But
which you all know. Everybody going angry. Yeah, go ahead. I'm loving it. Yes, good point.
But I mean, I kind of wonder who's the person looking out at the corner of their eye, kind of keeping tabs on her world. I mean, she has a lot of, she's talking about people, but I could never figured it out. It's an interesting, and it's a beautiful song.
It's a very cryptic album. Very, very, more so than usual. Stevie's always a little cryptic. Roland, is your hand up or you're itching your forehead?
Yeah. Well, both actually. There was a critic that said this song is like sandcastles at high tide, which I thought was very analogous to it.
Cool.
Instability, yeah.
Well, next is
that's thought provoking, Roland. Good point.
Thank you. Thank you, critic who said that.
When I bought this
Ghost.
album and saw that there was a Stevie Nicks song called Ghosts, I was ready for an epic, like, oh, Stevie Nicks Ghosts. But it's just kind of gauzy.
Spicy.
Not one of my favorites. Before we even go into this discussion, Steven, we're going to start with you every time for this album now. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
It's just there. It's not offensive, but it's not great. It's like whatever.
That's completely how I feel about it, so I have nothing to say. I'm sure.
Me either. Yeah.
Jim?
Yeah, it's pretty uplifting when you read the lyrics. You kind of look to your guardian angel and stuff like that. It's got some Mike Campbell co-wrote it, and you can hear him play on it. It's has a little of that feel with Stevie and Mike Campbell on this.
Is Kenny G back again, or am I imagining things?
What?
I don't think so.
No Kenny G in this one? Okay.
No, it doesn't say that. No.
Okay.
No.
A what?
Playing on it.
Goes. Oh, playing on it? Guitar is Mike Campbell.
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
No.
Guitar is Mike Campbell.
Cool.
Writing credit.
No. Doesn't say.
I bought it new.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, who plays guitars on this?
No, they're saying that Kenny G's not on it. I thought Kenny G was on there.
No, I didn't say anything but Kenny G.
No, okay. Cool. I didn't know this was a Mike Campbell song. He's definitely done better than this in my opinion.
It's kind of a filler. I mean, it's an interlude, it kind of bridges two songs together. Actually, you put Two Kinds of Love, Blue My Love, and Ghost together. There's not much of a tempo there. There's not a kick. There's some places in this album where it's not kicking.
Right.
That's part about selling records too, is having a flow and a kicker in there, here and there.
Production problems.
Yeah.
I agree with Jim. It's like an interlude before the more exciting Whole Lot of Trouble song.
Yeah.
It's a nice song, but it's nice. That's it.
It's one I like when I hear the album. I'm thinking, oh, I like this song, but I never go out of my way to listen to it. I think she sounds good on it, but other than that,
I like the hook of the chorus. Your guardian angel. Like I'll sing along to that, but I definitely don't move right to this track when I put in the CD. All right. Well, I guess we really don't have much to say about Ghost. Am I leaving anybody's thoughts out before we move on?
I'll say,
Alicia.
I think the lyrics. She has some very profound lyrics in this song. I like the whole ghost of what you really want, ghost of the past that you live in, and then ghost of the future. I feel like she's doing, Christmas Carol there. But I also but it also kind of makes you wonder what she's thinking of from her past. What's her ghost? What's worrying her? The other thing that I liked lyric wise was, so you look to your guardian angel. Some of them are here on earth. Well, some of them are up in heaven. And I think that's another really good little clip. I think this song, I agree with people. It's a filler, but I feel like this song could have been a lot more. I think this could have been one of those moody songs, think like Sisters of the Moon, or it really could have been something. So I wonder what could have been done if this was given to the right hands.
Right. It was too adult contemporary. You know what line I always loved, and I really love, on one of my old albums, I think I put this quote on, is so long ago I was an innocent and had nothing to do with age. And I think I
like that. That's good.
It's a nice line. It's a nice line. Yeah.
That's good.
That's a beautiful line. Nathan,
I was going to make
even like this album, this could be one of the weaker songs, but it's not that bad. Lyrically, the point of I think there's some inspiration trying to inspire people, and it's reflective too. So there's a lot going on, and it's it's pretty much, fans will like it or not, in varying degrees.
Right.
Some might think that might be one of the better songs. So,
some people would say it's filler. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Right.
But what about the line, one day they were lovers, one day they were friends?
That's a little lazy.
Well, but good point. Great point. But I think at least the recurrence of it over this album, and I think maybe one or two others. I don't quite remember right offhand, but at least in this one we see it 2, maybe 3 times. It's worth mentioning. I never thought it was lazy. I think that's a great point, Jim. Fun.
Cool. All right, so when you're playing the album, the next thing you hear is
She wrote that lick.
Yeah, so Stevie Nicks said in an interview that was the first time ever that someone took her demo and didn't change it. And I thought, Stevie, I'm not quite sure that's a good thing, honey.
I would never admit that if I were her. Oh,
Stevie, I'm not quite sure I'd be bragging about that because Whole Lot of Trouble, the remix has an echo on it. Now you guys know I collect things. For some reason, you can all laugh at me. I have the Whole Lot of Trouble CD single.
Hey.
And then, for some reason, I have 3 different versions of the promo CD that has the edited
Those
remix.
are cool.
Yeah.
How different are they? Noticeably or very subtly?
Roland is ready to make an offer.
When you change your mind. There's just an echo.
Oh, that's
cool.
Yeah. So I think that mix was used on Time Space, if I'm not mistaken.
There's that live performance video of it. That's pretty good. And I think is that echo on that?
Yes.
See, I mean,
it is. It is. I think so.
That's a good little video.
After I lived in Atlanta, I backpacked up to Pittsburgh, summer of '97. I was living with this queer artsy house, and we played this album a lot. And my friend Jess is always, not guilty, have mercy. I remember, I feel like this song is really campy, not intentionally. I could just imagine Steve with the guitar like, dun, 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 dun. I think the song's kind of a hot mess. I don't think it's nearly as much of a rocker as Stevie thinks it is.
It's a dirge.
Yeah, it's a dirge. It's a
dirge.
Well, that's where we disagree.
So Nathan, your
team... It's a good dirge. There's a good dirge.
Nathan, tell us why we should love this song.
I think this song is just as much of a dancey song as Stand Back is, and people don't give this song the credit it deserves. But this is a great song. And people from the country and people from the South, my people, Jim's people, they love this song. Okay. And they will tell you that they love this song, and that's one of the reasons why I really like her, is that she's kind of like Willie Nelson. She's like a female Willie Nelson. She bridges the divide between the country folk and the not country folk, because she used to be anyway apolitical, and Whole Lot of Trouble is a song that represents that. Couldn't be less political, and that's what's beautiful about it. So I like Whole Lot of Trouble, and country folks like it too, and it's great to dance to. And the lyrics, some people might call them lazy, but they're, again, to Alicia's point, Charlie's point earlier, they just sound good together. And that's, I think, really, it's so, I give it on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, probably about a 7.1.
Didn't she use some of the lyrics from 1,000 Days in there? You're not my friend, You're not my love.
Yeah.
There's another song called I Call You Missing. There's a demo of that, and there are bits of parts in A Whole Lot of Trouble, I believe.
I just want to know what the trouble was that Stevie was in 1989. Like too much hairspray, too many bedazzled hats. Like what exactly was the trouble?
EPA issue.
Charlie, was your hand up?
Well, kinda, yeah, it was Chum, but I can talk for a minute. Yeah, I also have always loved this song. I think it's a banger. And my My favorite part of it is when she sings, "When I want something,
Oh yeah.
I get it." Oh, it's it's a campy, sassy song, but it's a lot of fun. I know there's people who hate it, but you have to just let it go and enjoy it. It's a banger. It's not Stand Back, but it's still fun.
I think it's so bad that it's great because I like the bridge. Oh yeah. Okay, Roland.
Now about Stand Back in this song, I saw this tour, ages ago, and it was not good. She was so tranquilized that she would stand there on stage without blinking and just sing her songs, go backstage, change an outfit, change a hat, come back or with a fan for Alice, and stand, sing with not blinking, not saying anything. But for Stand Back and A Whole Lot of Trouble, she came alive for that tour for at least these two songs. And it was the third single, but unfortunately, no, sorry.
I think I bought every copy of the single that was.
You have them all. You have all 6 copies in the world.
Would you say this is one of her campiest songs of her whole catalog?
I could see that.
I definitely want to see a drag queen do this song for sure. In fact, I might do drag just so I can do this song in drag.
You'll probably do the lyrics better than she does when she does it live.
And I'm totally going to wear a red dress.
That's a great point, Steve. That's funny.
Yeah,
we just they're great on the album. But man, she didn't sing them right one time for.
Oh, not even close. It's a disaster.
The 8 shows that she did it on, didn't sing it right once.
Because it's like if you change your mind at the very last minute, wouldn't you be like, if you change your, it was never the same.
I like that part. I think that part has some cool potential in it.
Right.
But, every time I go to a restaurant, though, and I'm debating between the chicken or the steak, I think it's going to be a whole lot of trouble.
Jim, is your hand up?
Yes. Like someone said sassy, and it's in my notes. So I agree with that part, the sassy. And it's a song about giving a lover a fair warning. If you're going to deal with me, you're in for a whole lot of trouble, most likely. So, and that's the theme of the album.
So
it's pretty much,
Can I ask you guys, if Stevie Nicks came back on tour and we paid a lot of money for tickets, but it was the first show and the set list wasn't out yet, we're all standing there together and we hear, what would you all do?
Stand up on my seat. That's what I'd do. I'd be hyped.
I'd be dancing.
Yeah,
over.
It's a new song after all these years.
Oh my God! Can you imagine she opened with a whole lot of trouble? Oh.
Steve, what would you do?
Steve,
I don't know. I just don't like this song. I'm glad you guys like it. I would never take that away from you. I wish I loved it too.
I mean, what I think would be great if she started off with something new and exciting, because for a long time through her tours, it was always Outside the Rain. It was so expected, and then Dreams, and then maybe the new single. There was a new single or something else.
Yeah, Secret
So
Love.
it was fun.
I remember.
So she did switch around. So go ahead.
There was an interview with Waddy Wachtel where he's like, "I wish she would open with Talk to Me, but she won't change her set list."
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Now she finally did with the. We're going ahead, but I'll be short. Trug Shangri-La tour. She started off with "Start Dragging My Heart Around," so she finally did a nice change.
And what did 24 Karat Gold open with? Golden Braid.
Golden Braid.
Which I loved that as an opener, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I got bored of Outside the Rain.
I almost feel like we need a discussion just on the 24 Karat Gold tour. Like, I love that tour so much that we can just talk about the damn tour for an hour, and let's add
more than an hour.
Okay, does anyone have any thoughts on A Whole Lot of Trouble before we move on?
It's a great sing-along song. I mean, it's
a lot of trouble.
So,
the horn section.
I do actually. I want to add something, and people probably won't want to call. I know you can tell you want to move on, but I think this is worth mentioning for people who like language and philosophical ideas. and that is, as an example, and I might regret bringing this up because it might be too deep, but as an example and a counterpoint, consider the Lindsey Buckingham song "Trouble." Right? Everybody with me? Everybody knows the song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you're a kid, that's the type of song that might grab your ear, because I don't want to be in trouble. And yet that is what the song is about, and that's what the chorus is. And I think that this song gets in the same, it fits in that same sort of pocket of something that might arrest a kid's attention for a little bit of time in a way that would make it a memorable song for them in their brain. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Couple people, I see a couple heads nodding, so y'all know what I mean a little bit. So that's the only point I really have to make, is that songs about trouble within the title, I think there's that fits into some kind of a formula or algorithm that I think is probably saleable, marketable.
Do we all need a 5-minute break, do you think?
It's side 2 coming up.
Okay.
Sure.
Before we close side 1, if you had to vote between Whole Lot of Trouble and Trouble in Shangri-La, what would you vote for?
Ooh.
Trouble in
Shangri-La. Shangri-La.
There's no contest.
I just wanted to see.
A whole lot of trouble.
Oh!
Apples and oranges.
Okay, I'm going to pause. We'll be back in 5 minutes. All right, we're back here to talk about side 2 of The Other Side of the Mirror. We navigated the rooms on fire. We made it through the castle walls, and we got in a whole lot of trouble. So, side 2. To me, I always group the next 2 songs together, Fire Burning and Cry Wolf. I guess we could talk about them separately, but I kind of feel the same about both songs. Like, they're all right. Cry Wolf was on, Laura Branigan did a version on her album Touch, I believe, which I actually think I like Laura Branigan's version better. So let's start with Fire Burning. What does anyone have to say about this song?
Not crazy about it.
I like it.
What?
I like it too.
What? There's a window. She climbs up some stairs. So, what makes you like this song?
I think the
I know-
lyrics are interesting. I like that it's upbeat.
Okay.
It's just a lot of fun. Not terribly deep. It's not her best song, but I like it.
Cool.
Points.
Yeah, I feel the same way as Stephen. I've always felt like it's a cute song. It's not a career highlight, but it's cute. It does what it needs to do. It's nice to have something a bit more upbeat on this album, because there were a lot of slower, moodier, mid-tempo songs. So
Wow.
This is another Mike Campbell collaboration.
Fun to sing.
Mike Campbell.
Yeah.
I would never have guessed that you two would be on the same page with this piece of stream of consciousness, ineffective nonsense. You know, it's good. So what she's saying is that she
Says the cheerleader of
she let a candle burn while she was rearranging her scarves, and that's track 7. That's not good. And this album and this track leaves a lot to be desired, to say the least. And I'm very surprised that you guys, with all of your knowledge and all of your credentials, would be coming in on this track at that.
This is coming from a guy that likes Whole Lot of Trouble.
yeah, the cheerleader of Whole Lot of Trouble.
Well, I like them both. So
And the thing about
All I know about this song is that she said it was based on a true experience. Her garage caught on fire, and she had to like take her blankets and her little notebooks and run away.
just run out the garage with her blue lamp.
The vault.
to think about what she
Song
would
vault.
keep if she lost everything.
I know. Again, there was a window.
Song
Notes and
vault.
illusion. There's no fire burning, just a soul crying. All right. Any other, Alicia? Any thoughts on this song? Then we'll move over
My
to Jim.
thoughts? Well, okay, so I admit that I listened to this record on a CD. So I always thought that Whole Lot of Trouble was the one that started side B. So to
I did
realize
too. Yeah.
this is the one that starts side B, it's kind of a letdown. I would think you would want to start with kind of a punch or something. To me, this isn't quite
Great point.
strong song. The message in the lyrics I like. It's interesting for her to talk about how she's actually struggling. There's a fire, there's no fire burning, there's a soul crying. So the imagery is good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's one of her best songs. And I feel like this is another one where I feel like there could have been more done for this song.
Okay. Did you say something about the message of the song, Alicia?
Yeah.
What is the message of this song? There is no fire burning, just a soul crying. What does that mean? In other words, my soul is affected by my little garage studio apartment place where my assistant.
Well, that's Stevie. Let me put it this way. Stevie's world, where the worst thing happening is her breaking a nail, that may be a problem. But for me, when I hear this song, it makes me think of how a lot of us are really good at hiding our problems.
Yeah.
Everybody smiles and, my life is perfect. And look at my Facebook. I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And have you realized how many people are lonely? How many people are crying out for help? And so to me, that's the message of this song. It's how many people are really crumbling inside.
It's an illusion, like she says in the lyrics.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love these discussions because sometimes I walk away, I'm like, shit, I'm gonna go re-listen to that. Jim, I see your hand is up.
Yeah, I unmuted myself. I went dark for a bit, so I missed a little piece. So I think it's great. A lot of metaphors, a lot of imagery in this. Mike Campbell co-wrote it or wrote music for it. So it's a nice tempo. It's a lot of deep. If you look into it, there's a lot of depth to this, and a little incident, like a little, some neighbor, I think a fire spread to her garage, and it just popped in her head, and she probably wrote this in a few minutes, and it, there's a lot of depth, a lot of, it could have been very bad where, her house burned down, and she made a song of it, and it's a very good song. A lot of metaphors, a lot of a deep meaning to it. I really like it.
Cool. And that's the beautiful thing about music is there's really no right or wrong.
Yeah.
We might pick on each other a little bit, but
there is when me and Steve get to going back and forth here. Steve and I are about to kick it off here. We're about to have a crossfire thing.
Good. That's gonna bring my ratings up. People like drama. We're still friendlier than some people online, we will say. Any thoughts on fire burning before we get out of this side garage?
He just leaned down and took a note about me. That's what he did right there. See that?
Does anyone have any thoughts on Cry Wolf? Like I said,
Battle of the Dragons.
Battle of the Dragons. Stevie Nicks did not write this song. So it's interesting why she did this song on this album. When she had like original. I feel like that B-side, Real Tears, I love that song.
Yeah.
And that was a Stevie Nicks original. So I wonder why she chose to do this cover version on the album. Is there any fans of this song here?
No.
Cry Wolf?
Yeah.
No, that's the face, Rollin.
No. It's right for me. It's right up there with "Some Become Strangers," which I know some of you guys like, but I don't like. I think this song was a waste of space. She could have put out, I have so many songs I'll never record. That's why I had a solo career. She does a remake of a Laura Branigan song that was out just 2 years earlier, or not very long before. So why bother?
And it wasn't even a hit song, Alicia.
No.
Yeah, and I saw the video of it not too long ago, and it does not sound very different from the other ones.
No.
So why, unless you could do something really interesting to it, don't bother.
Do we have any Laura Branigan fans here? Because I actually love Laura.
I think Laura Branigan's an underrated legend. I mean, come on, Self-Control, come on. But this isn't this fits her more. This isn't, it sticks out on this album so much because she didn't write it, and it doesn't sound like something she could have written. I think Some Become Strangers at least kind of sounded like something she could have written. This doesn't. This just sticks out to me. And I don't think it's a high point for Laura Branigan either. I just don't think it's the best song to begin with. Sorry, Jude or Judy Johnstone, but it's not a highlight track, and I think there were many other songs that could have been chosen over this. That's just my opinion. It is a waste of space.
Yes.
Steven, I saw your hand up.
Doesn't this song sound like Boys of Summer when you're looking back and listen to the production of it?
I couldn't tell. I actually liked the Boys of Summer.
I was just listening to like the reverb in it. I was like, I didn't hear it back then, but now looking back, I hear that.
The gauziness of it. I feel like they're both
just
very
like they were
gauzy.
trying, like Stevie heard this song on the radio, and she's like, make it sound more like that.
Okay.
That's what I got from it, going back in time.
And this song definitely came nowhere near touching Boys of Summer.
No, it's filler, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any
Alicia.
Stevie? Do you think there's any Stevie fans out there that are like, my favorite Stevie song is Cry Wolf? Do you think that person exists?
There's two.
Everything. Yeah.
There's
Alicia,
two.
Did you have something to say?
I do. Well, Alicia, yes. There are
Yeah.
two fans, and they're me and Alicia.
Well, everybody started jumping in, but yeah, this does stick out because Stevie didn't write it. So when you have all the other songs that are more clunky or more descriptive, and this one's very vague, it kind of does stick out. The other thing that makes me always wonder, because I was going off of what Roland was saying, is I always wonder why Mirror Mirror never made this record. I mean, to me, that would have been such an, especially, I'm going to butcher the line, I'm sure, but it's, she starts kind of halfway through where, you know, we go through the veil. I think that's when the breakdown happens. And I always thought that was so perfect for this record, and it never hit this. So I don't know why that would have been a perfect fit for this. And it would have, I think, make this album much stronger. And that's a good quality song.
Yeah. It's epic.
So the only thing I could think of with Cry Wolf is because it's got such a lot of metaphors.
Yeah, it fits the narrative.
Yes.
So
that's
Nathan,
the only thing.
you love this song. Tell us why.
Who?
Have I been open? Have I not been on mute while I was typing up a storm?
Yeah, I think you're on mute.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad, because I was typing up a storm and I don't want it to sound like popcorn. I'm not making popcorn. I was typing a message. I think this is a good song. And when I still have a CD player in my car. So full disclosure, you guys, my car is a 2008 vintage. And so it does not, and it's, anyway, I won't get into the details. It doesn't have a Bluetooth or an MP or an aux in. It's only got CDs.
Okay.
But it holds 6 discs. And so when I get to the other side of the mirror, I hang on to this song, and sometimes I listen to it more than once because it's a good song. It's got a nice melody. It's pretty, and I really think it hangs well with the entire theme of the rest of the album. So a lot of people call it filler, and I wouldn't argue with that. It'd be a hard argument to make, but I think that not every song can be a deep, impactful song. You need some filler, just like that's the reason why not everything is spaghetti bolognese. You need some bread in there too. Filler is important. And I think that this filler really hangs well with the rest of the whole picture. So, body of work.
Any other thoughts on Cry Wolf? Jim?
Yes, it's another interlude song. It kind of bridges the gap from one to another. She didn't write it. If I'm buying the Stevie Nicks album, a lot of it's for the writing, or like the main reason is for the writing. And when she writes, her vocal style is unique to the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's really something special. And this is just, she's, paint by numbers in someone else's song. And it works with the record. It works with the album.
Mm-hmm.
Atmospheric and, fair warning to a lover, just another part of that, the theme of the album. So it's a you know, it's like one of the bottom ones for me on this record. It's not bad though.
All right.
Can I ask a follow-up question to Jim?
Yes.
Would that be all right, Jeremy?
Yeah, absolutely.
What are your two other least favorite songs? So if this is one of your bottom ones, what are your two least favorites on the record?
Ghosts.
You don't have three. See, they're all.
Oh, I meant this in the other one, or
Okay.
in Ghosts, or you know, they're okay. They fit on the record. This is it's a very tight record.
Yeah.
But there's high points and low points, and you can't have one kind of tempo all the way through. In this, she could have pulled from a catalog and certainly got something in there.
Right.
You could have pulled some. There's some there's some outtakes. There's a pretty good. She said when in an interview she had like 27. And that was a deep cut down of what she wanted on this album.
Okay.
There was or 16. She cut it down to 16. And then I think she told Rupert, you pick them. Because she could. She was getting it down to 16. And,
So
and Rupert left this thing
Good
on.
work if you can get it.
There's 13 on the album, right? Is it 13 songs?
12.
12?
Well,
Yeah,
what were the other?
That's an unlucky number. That's very.
So what would the other four have been? Real Tears, I Call
Beautiful
You
Ghost.
Beautiful Ghost.
I think Dial the Number with Kenny.
Dial the Number, probably.
Yeah.
the number's pretty cool.
Was I Call You missing from this, or was that Rock a Little?
Did I
Not sure.
All right, well, back to Other Side of the Mirror. I'm going to tell you all a story. It was 1994. I was graduated from high school, and there was a guy in my hometown named Greg that was like the coolest guy, and he had a Geo Tracker Jeep with a banging system. And he was playing like some deep bass, like hip hop. And I'm like, I got to hang out with him. I'm like, I want to play a song on your stereo in your car driving around. I'm like, let's play Alice by Stevie Nicks because it has this bass line in it. So I drove around from New York in the Geo Tracker playing MF and Alice by Stevie Nicks and Greg Fasso's Geo Tracker. So that's my story.
Somebody knows the song besides us.
But yeah.
And as it started, I'm like, man, maybe this isn't that cool.
Okay.
Maybe this is embarrassing to me.
Yeah. Whoops. Maybe I should pick something else. Okay. I still love that weird bass line, like the synth bass. It doesn't sound like anything Stevie Nicks has ever really done before since. I guess this would be the title track of the album because she's talking about Alice on the other side of the mirror.
Yeah.
It's a very rambly song, but I love it. I love Alice.
Yeah.
Steven.
I like it. Just a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Yep.
What is up? Nathan, what are your thoughts on Alice?
Oh, it's my favorite. I wish that she would have done something to make it more. And we talked about this, I think, last month when we talked about Rock a Little. I wish that it would have been more in line with the title of the album. I think it's a great song. I love the bass track. I do think it's a little, Steven, I'm surprised you like this so much because I feel that it's a little self-referential. And I used to like it a lot more than I do now. And now that I'm, 26, I feel like it's a little self-referential. And when I listen to it, it's like, oh, she's out there on the ledge, but no one saw. And as if we have not.
It's okay if it's done right.
If we've not seen this trope before and after this song ad nauseum. But it is absolutely in my top 5 favorite Stevie Nicks tracks. It's
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I think it's fantastic.
I love
There's
that.
something about the melody. There's something about the progression of the notes and the melody that just works for me. I like the background vocals. It works for me. It's my favorite on the album. It's in my top 5 of all of her songs, I think. And
I have to say, I'm not even mad at Kenny G this time around. Like,
No, it worked.
Good.
I'll let it go.
Yeah.
I'll let it go.
Yeah, I'll let it go. I love this song too. I love that this is in your top 5. I think that's so cool.
Do you love the House of Blues recording?
Yeah.
The live recording, Nathan?
Is it from the '89 tour, or is it from later?
I think so.
It must be, because she only did it on the Other Side of the Mirror tour. Is the only time she did Alice live, right?
It didn't come out until years later, so I'm not sure.
I think it's a Shoreline after this tour. Only this tour.
I've seen the Shoreline thing. I've heard most of the live ones out there. I will look at the House of Blues and see if I can find it. And I'm gonna tell you, Steve. I'm gonna get back to you privately on this.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, and I see your hand up.
Yeah, to my knowledge, this is she only did this on the Other Side of the Mirror tour, which it was not. She never did it again. So it was the first time she did a title track before she did Belladonna on the 24 Karat Gold tour. Interestingly enough, I just find some of the lyrics a little awkward. Like, you cannot tell a gypsy that she's no longer a member, and this part about carry a stiletto in her garter with everything else. It's kind of like
I love that.
Only Stevie Nicks could sing that. No one else could sing the song with conviction.
Yeah.
You know?
She's like, I'm not leaving Fleetwood Mac. You can't tell this gypsy she's not a member.
No members. Yeah.
In other words, go ahead, Roland. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. I'm finished.
Well, no, I was just going to support your point to say, in other words, I started this gangster shit, and this the motherfucking thanks I get. I mean,
have Charlie, Alicia, and Jim commented on this song?
Yeah.
Jim. We'll do Jim,
okay.
Charlie, and Alicia.
Okay. In the interview, she said this was about the Fleetwood Mac world and going back to her world, the Other Side of the Mirror. It's basically there's a lot. There's a lot of conviction in her voice in this. This is pretty epic. This is a pretty big deal to her. It's probably a big deal to her today. This song. In a good use of Kenny G. Very nice song. This pretty much puts a stamp on the whole album. It brings it all home. It's something like this would not play on the radio. I don't know if you can get it on adult contemporary or not. So,
Charlie.
I like this song, but it's another one. I like it better than Ghosts, but it's not a song I usually listen to outside of the context of the album. I think it's very much in this album, I guess you could say. I think it has a very nice groove. I like some of the lyrics. I don't mind all her rambly songs, but this one's maybe a little too rambly for me. I think it goes on a bit too long, but I still enjoy it. Okay, it's just not my top favorite here, but it's a fine song. I
sure seemed long in that Geo Tracker. I mean, that was a long 5+ minutes. Alicia.
Julia.
I'll have to. I think it's a good song. It's not one that sticks out in my mind. I hate to tell you, I feel like I have to pull it back out and listen to it again now that Nathan's saying it's in his top 5 of all time with Stevie. But I mean, it's definitely got a lot of. I feel like we can really discuss this one and Juliet with all the symbolism and pull it apart, and we could have our own 30-minute debate about what all the symbols are. And it makes me wonder, because if this is so much relevant, and I didn't realize it was talking about her different worlds, Fleetwood Mac and her solo.
Right.
Why hasn't she sung it? Because it seems like that's been quite a theme for her and Buckingham.
Right.
Through all these years, he calls it a large machine, small machine. So it's interesting that she doesn't really perform this.
I'd love to hear this live.
So.
Cool.
I'm surprised she did this live. She could have done, let's say, "Ooh My Love," or maybe even "Fire Burning" instead. It's not that commercial sounding. It's a very personal song.
It's hypnotic, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great for stoners, which is a big segment of her listening community, I think. It's a great song to just zone out to and go to her world and just enjoy.
We need another 5-minute break? No, I'm just All right, I'm going to tell another story about my life. So, I moved to Atlanta. This album was getting me through, and I worked at Walmart in the furniture and domestics department, and I was heartbroken over a boy. And my friend Shauna was coming down to visit me from Buffalo, and I was just in my bedroom, and Juliet came on, and I didn't know what to do with my life. I heard Juliet, and I'm like, oh my God, I need to give away everything I own and leave Atlanta tomorrow. So I did. I think if I wouldn't have, this is the one time in my life, like, listening to a song made me make a huge life decision. And I think my life would have been different if I didn't hear. And I always thought the song was a rambling mess, but for some reason at that moment, it really hit me. And of course, I've loved it ever since. But I got some ribbons and some bows. I went to the Goodwill and gave away all my stuff and got back on the road, baby. So I thank Stevie Nicks for writing the song. It was interesting to hear. This was actually from Rock Little, right? The original demo. There's like a rock version, the demo where she comes in and she's like, yeah, like it totally starts with her doing like one of her Rock Little improv. So look that up online. So for Sentimental Value, I love this song, and Fleetwood Mac did release it as an instrumental called Book of Miracles as a B-side from the Tango in the Night era. So it's interesting that she actually put lyrics on it.
I think it's up everywhere.
Yeah. Yep.
It's up everywhere?
Yep.
Okay.
So I have a huge emotional connection to the song. I love it. Take it away. Who wants to go first?
I would never have guessed that Book of Miracles and Juliet can't pick it up that he sounded like. I find it clunky in places like, turn to the blue crystal mirror. Well, as always, it is truthful. I mean, that talk singing is annoying. That talk singing, please don't.
You see, I'd gotten mad at this guy and broke a mirror the day before. So that I'm like, I threw a mirror and broke it. The mirror's always truthful. So
I love it. I love it.
She did this one on stage too back for that tour.
Wouldn't you say this is a little campy too? Like a turn to the blue.
I said she did this on a tour as well. She did this on a live. It was done live.
I feel like it's kind of campy though. I feel like there's some campy moments on this album. And I think this song has moments of that, even though it's a very serious song to her. I love her over the top talk singing, and it turned me off at first, but now I'm like, bring it on, Stevie. I'm on board. Charlie, do you have any thoughts on this song?
I do think it's a bit rambly, but overall, I like it a bit better than the previous rambly song, Alice, because I think the message is so strong, even though there are the campy moments overall in it. I think
this is Bella.
Hey!
It's night for Bella.
Oh, hey, Bella.
She's named after Bella from, what movie was that?
Twilight?
Yeah. It's not Belladonna.
Oh, Bella Swan. Bella Swan.
Oh.
Okay. Take these back up.
Kristen Stewart? Is that Kristen Stewart you have there?
It could be. Hey, I loved it. What's it? Werewolves of London?
Oh, yeah.
That's one of her. That's probably maybe her first movie, or no, hold on, not that one. It's the one in space. Gosh, oh dang, I can't remember the title. But she's the big sister. Oh, and the house lifts up and goes into space, and
Lilo and Stitch.
Zathura.
Wizard of Oz.
I'm not a movie person, so I don't know.
You don't know, Jim.
All right, Alicia, what do you think of Juliet?
It's Zathura. Okay, go on.
Well, I will definitely.
What I'm thinking.
Alice and Juliet are not the songs that register in my mind very much. I know that's really bad. So.
I love it.
There's no bad.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong.
So I'm gonna have to like double check. This is not. I mean, I guess I'm not the biggest fan of the rambling.
Right.
Some of them it makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't. This one hasn't connected to me yet. So.
Isn't Bruce Hornsby back for this one too?
Yeah. He plays the piano.
And I'm okay with Bruce in this one.
Yes,
Kenny
he
G
sings
and
on
Bruce.
I love.
Well, he
that
does
piano.
additional vocals too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love The Sky Is Not Crying, The Sky Is Blue.
The sky's not crying. The
Because
sky
I'm like,
is
that's how I felt.
blue.
Like, I'm not going to be depressed. The sky is blue and I'm leaving here.
Yes.
I never spent much. Can I throw one thought out on Juliet?
Yeah.
I think it's an. Oh my God, Steve. That's all right. I won't throw another thought out.
No, I'm kidding.
Too personal.
Please.
You know
Please.
right where to hurt me. Just kidding. My feelings are hurt. I'm invincible. I find it to be another inspirational song, right in the same vein as Long Way to Go. This is another song that I can listen to, and it picks me up. I feel better when I listen to Juliet because, to the point of Jeremy's emails the other day, you can just, and some ribbons and some bows. I mean, that's certainly if you wear more fantastic clothes than I do, it's a little easier to understand what that means. But if you don't, then you can certainly put some ribbons and some bows around any little situation that you're in, in terms of putting a different narrative take on it.
Yeah.
So it really is maybe I would argue that this is maybe her most relatable song. Why don't you take that, Steve, and see what you're going to do with that?
It was weird because I didn't get this song, and then I really got this song. Tim, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah,
I love it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said my name. Go ahead.
It's a very snappy tune. It's an uplifting message, and I love that end where Stevie and Hornsby goes back and forth, and it's got a very Hornsby type piano riff at the end.
Right.
It's they left. Made behind, just left them alone and interact in they created.
Right.
It's good. It's good. It's very good. It's very Stevie. I mean, sometimes clunky and cumbersome lyrics will work and make it happen. And this is kind of one of those.
When they were good, they were
They're very good. Very good. Cheers.
Point, Steve.
That's from Angel. I just thought of that.
Yeah.
When you were good, you were very, very good. That's from Angel.
Stranger.
Oh, you know what other line I love? Let the crisis become a bridge and cross that bridge tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the time that goes between let go of the sorrow. That's some good shit right there.
Yeah. I mean,
that's relatable.
Yeah. I love
this.
It's constant, yeah.
Cool. Well, do we have any other? Do we all like Juliet for the most part?
I'm not crazy about it.
I like it. I don't love it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on from the Blue Crystal Mirror, and we're about to escape from Berlin.
Whoa. Okay.
So recently, I just watched that promo video where she's sitting at the piano with the girls.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's it.
I feel like this is one of Stevie Nicks' darkest songs. It's totally about coming out of her drug addiction. When I was in Pittsburgh with my friends, this whole album is the trajectory of that summer. We listened to Not Guilty, Have Mercy. And then my Gothic friends loved Escape from Berlin, Doing the Best I Can. This is a really, really dark song. And
yes.
This is one of my favorites. It's intense. I feel like this might have been the lowest point of her life, kind of caught in a song.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe next time I'll say what I'm thinking. I don't know. Steven, let's start with you. Do you like it or not like it?
I'm sorry. I hate this.
Really? How come you hate it?
Production. I like it when she sings it at the piano with the girls.
Okay.
Which floored me. Like, I really enjoy that. I don't like it on the album at all.
See, to me, it's very much that like late 80s kind of Kate Bush sensual world. how they kind of had those gauzy synthesizers.
I don't know her. I don't know her.
Okay.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. There's no right or wrong. Steven. That's Alicia. What do you think of this one?
I love it.
Yes.
This is one of those songs where, you know, I go straight to this record just to listen to this song.
Yeah.
This is the only place you can pull it. And it is a very, yeah.
That's cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Same here. I put this song with her darkest songs right next to like Mabel Normand. It's like the lowest points of her life.
There's a great atmosphere that this song just builds up, I think.
I love it.
I bet Street Angel was pretty low, but that's a subject for 22 and a half days from now.
That's right.
Alicia, I don't want to step on you what you're saying. Tell us more.
I mean, it's just got it's really interesting what she's talking about. I think she's talking about her drug addiction. I think she's talking about the music industry because it's changing so much.
Yes.
Having to deal with it. I think she's really also admitting that she likes the fame and the fortune. She likes all that adulation that she gets from the fans.
Right.
And how it's changed her. And she's kind of admitting to it in this song. So it's a really honest song, but she's kind of been able to do enough smoke in the mirror so it's not so direct.
And how many times have you felt like that in your life? Like everyone's telling you to do this and do that. Like I'm doing the best I can. You know what I mean? Yeah, like I feel like it's even the title. Like I'm getting a little emotional talking about this song just because it ties into so many memories. Like times in your life, like damn, I'm just doing the freaking best I can. And this album was there during that time in my life. So
yeah, I think I know.
It's Nathan just too bad that in her personal life it did not go well. I mean, she went from one addiction to another addiction. Right. It's really too bad.
Yeah.
Charlie,
so it would have been a song of hope that I'm getting better, but she did not get better until 1996 or so.
Yeah. I was going to say, like Nathan said earlier, that he thought Juliet was Stevie Nicks' most relatable song. I think this is, because aren't we all doing the best that we can? I mean, whether it's related to a drug addiction or not in our life, I mean, we've all been in situations where people are being judgmental. They don't understand what we're going through, and they're telling you need to do this way, you need to do it that way. And it's like, well, I'm just doing the best that I can do right now. And I mean, I know people have had opinions on what I need to be doing with my life, but all I can say is, you know, forget it. And songs like this help me rationalize how I'm feeling, to know, like, I'm not alone in this, and I'm doing what I need to be doing on my timeline. And I'm glad a song like this exists to help me get through that stuff, I would say. So it's a very important song to me.
Her vocals on that last verse were in my devastation. I wanted to, like, that's a really powerful performance. And I feel like the trilogy of Alice, Juliet, and Doing the Best I Can is just a great trilogy of really powerful songs.
I wish she did this in concert instead of maybe a Beauty and the Beast, and for a slow, deep.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine her doing this? This time I wouldn't pee my pants. I would just be probably devastated. All the trauma of my life would just surface in front of everybody else in that damn concert venue. And Nathan, do you like this song?
I think it's a fantastic song. One of my very earliest favorites of hers. You know, when I was 15, I pulled Time, Space, and the Other Side of the Mirror off my parents' shelf of CDs, which was mostly classic country. Mm-hmm. So this was one of their few little entrants into forays into whatever you would genre. Pop rock, whatever you would genre it. Mm-hmm. And so so this is one of the ones that got me. And I think, you know, I mean, it's a really fantastic title. And it fits well at the back of an album. You certainly wouldn't put this up front, you know. Nope. I think it's sequenced well, and to your point a second ago, JG, the sequence of Alice, Juliet, Doing the Best that I Berlin is really it's a movement, you know, like in a symphony orchestra, they would call it the third movement. you know, and in a play they would call it the third act. And
Yeah.
I think it serves very well as that. And I think it's a great song. I wonder more, but you know, and then the wall came down. There's that whole section from the Time Space album, not very much longer later.
Right.
And I wonder, so she was obviously pretty impacted by the whole whatever politically. Some of us have a lot of time to watch CNN. Others of us just have to get the news. It's like, she was obviously following that story pretty closely. So, anyway, so I think that's kind of interesting as it relates to the time space thing. But that section, so that's interesting in the title, and it's a great title all around. But then that part in the song, the bridge with where it comes down.
Oh yeah.
When she was silent and she was locked away. I mean, that's pretty hard to argue with. What do you mean?
Do you know what musically the song reminds me of? Are there any Eurythmics fans here?
Yeah.
The song Julia from the 1984 soundtrack kind of has the same vibe a little bit. I don't know if anyone else is familiar with that song, but it's also a really dark song.
No.
Yeah, you know what else I love is the end where she's like, ah, ah, ah. Then the girls echo it.
Yeah.
That's really haunting. This song, like,
Got a good end.
there's something about Stevie Nicks when she hits a part of me, like she gets in there in a way that no one else can, and this is one of those songs that just gets.
I wonder if I don't want to monopolize. I wonder if there was a thing, a personal, like a subject person interest story where some refugee escaped from Berlin when that was a hot news story, and she was in like Timeline or People magazine or some bullshit that she was reading on the Behind the Mask recording sessions, and that's what inspired that title.
Right.
Okay. So I never associate with the Berlin Wall. That's the time that all happened. The unification of Germany.
Yeah, that was around then, right? Wasn't it?
Is that the time of the Berlin Wall fall? I never really.
Yeah, I think it has to be.
Yeah, I never gave it any thought at all.
November 9th, 1989, Jim.
Okay, there we go. That's good. Okay. I don't even listen to this track on the record. I've watched that live with Lori and Sharon.
Yeah.
And what's more important, and I don't know if you guys ever seen it, that interview prior to that.
Oh yeah.
She was getting stuff off her chest. I think she has pressure from the industry. She has pressure from even its fans a little bit,
right.
And to produce. And it's like she says, it's aging. It's like it's just that to me, that interview with that performance is just so epic. It in my mind, it elevates Stevie to a certain level. That's one of her higher moments for me. It's a low point as a song, but it's
very serious. A very serious interview.
Oh my gosh, it's very poignant. I mean,
feel like it caught her between two addictions, like right in that.
Yeah.
Right between the two addictions. So.
Yeah. Its music is very epic. I do like the album track. I mean, I should listen to it more. But what gets me is watching her and the girls, and her playing is great.
Yeah.
Some on YouTube they sort of saying usually she's a little off vocally when she's playing, but she's totally in it. It's a whole piece. It's her as a whole artist. Her one of her best moments in a very it's naked.
Yeah,
it's friggin' naked, and she's and I don't know if there's a longer version. Did you lose on me?
No, what was that?
Okay. I lost my. That's about it. I mean, for me, it's that the little interview. I'm asking. Is there a longer clips of that? What was that part of?
I don't even know.
You know, it was part of an interview show or whatever.
It's so interesting because
it was some British promo.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
probably just like a throwaway, right?
I
Now
wonder
it's
if
like
there's
one of our.
more. I wonder if there's more to that somewhere. I may have seen it before myself and kind of forgotten. So
It
I
was
think
a
of all these, like-
BBC special.
Oh, BBC.
From what I remember seeing on YouTube. It's been a while since I've seen the whole thing, but
yeah,
from what I recall.
There are some of these like iconic Stevie Nicks moments that are so random. Like that's probably just a little TV show. Now it's some of our favorites. Just like the Wild Heart Rolling Stone dressing room thing. Like, you know, she just with the girls. Those are some of the best Stevie Nicks moments. And they're like these little treasures that we find at different times.
yes. To me, that is just such an epic, because she was angry and, you know, and she didn't like blink hardly during that. She was just like, you know, she's sending a message to some people. I'm telling you, hear that. She can send a message in an interview, and you know they'll hear it, and they'll talk among themselves. And it says Stevie's laid down the friggin' law. You know,
her word is law.
This is Nathan. Yeah. That's right, and that's well said, and that's a great lyric. Can I throw out one thing really quickly?
Yeah.
I have a fun game called Which would you choose? And that is an evening with Sharon or an evening with Lori. Which would you choose?
Sharon was there for more, because Lori like skipped out for some albums. So I want to hear like
24 Karat Gold Tour. She skipped out for that too.
Right.
Sharon's been on Sharon's been on more tours, but
right.
Lori is married in.
Yeah,
bro.
What if I said
I want the scoop from Lori for sure?
Sarah Fleetwood. I'd pick Sarah Fleetwood. Isn't she the one?
Isn't Sarah Fleetwood divorced from Mick Fleetwood?
Yes.
And isn't Lori Perry Nicks divorced from Christopher Nicks?
I think so. I think they're divorced.
Yeah.
But I'm glad Stevie's still friends with Lori.
Oh, that's
so after this.
To me, it's about why are you keeping the last name of your ex if you're divorced? I mean, it's kind of like you want to build on their fame.
Well, if my last name was Nicks because I was married in the Stevie Nicks family,
and if you divorced her,
I sure as hell would not change it. All right, so after these three epic songs, then you hear this little organ come in.
And you're like,
dinner.
If you were my love.
Oh God.
Oh no, it's not. Wait.
Okay.
So the album ends with a Johnny Cash cover, and I will be the first to say I love it. Like, there's so many dark songs on this album. It just ends with this cute Johnny Cash cover. I actually like. There's other songs when Stevie sings other people's material. I don't like it, but for some reason, this Blue Eyes closer with a little whistle in there to whatever.
It's not even that. It's like a kazoo.
Yeah, it does it for me. It's so like after this weird, ghostly, gauzy, epic album, we end up with Johnny Cash in like Bobby McFerrin production.
Yeah.
So what does everyone else here think of I Still Miss Someone?
I love it. I think it's I love her vocal on it. It's just an impassioned vocal. I feel like you can tell she really connects with the song and loves it. And even though you can tell she didn't write it, but because when she connects with it, and that's why it works. And when I listened to my Nixology podcast, there was a very interesting point made. They're talking about the blue eyes in this song, and the first song on Street Angel is
Bright Eyes, Blue
Denim.
Somebody was pining for a certain someone whose name starts with an L and rhymes the blue with a clue eye. I don't know.
Yep.
I take your point. That's great.
Les Dudek. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He dated Cher, so.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is just like a little charming ending to this album. I'm okay with it. I mean, there's not too much to say about it. I believe Emmy Lou Harris
there's at least one or two more things.
Okay, what do you have to say?
Well, not only is it a very impassioned vocal, to Charlie's point, that's my very favorite thing about it. But my very close second favorite thing would be the guitar solo. Y'all forgetting about that fantastic electric guitar solo in the middle of it, and I think that's Waddy Wachtel. Was that him? I don't know. And I think it's one of how many tracks does he play on this album? Not very many.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
it's Waddy Wachtel.
So in fact, I only had time to listen to 2 songs before we got on tonight. And that was one of the 2 that I listened to. And I was like, God damn, this is a good guitar solo.
I didn't put up the back cover so we can see, it looks like Stevie's dancing to this song. Jim, was your hand up?
Relatable.
She like broke a heel. Like,
yeah. All right. Anyone else's thoughts on Blue Eyes? Jim?
Yes, it's a bit anticlimactic after that, doing the best I can. Doing the best I can could end it, but it kind of it would leave you with a little bit like, whoa, and Stevie probably thought, well, I better bring people back up a little.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a sentimental song. And it's got a great vocal, and it's played well. Waddy plays well on it. It's very Stevie Nicks in that way. She pretty much makes it her own, though. I haven't heard like other versions or not from anybody else. So, but she made it her own. It's a little anticlimactic from doing the best I can, but it serves its purpose. It kind of brings you back, because ending like that, doing the best I can, it would kind of, it might leave you in kind of a little, it might make you not want to play the record again in an odd way too.
See, I feel the album is so cinematic that I feel like this song is the credits rolling. Like I always looked at the song as like where the credits are rolling.
That's what it is. Yeah. After the CSI, and they pick up the pieces and the bones and roll the credits.
All right, Alicia, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah.
It's not one of my favorites. I think after all the songs on this record, she's really talking to you, and I feel like this one, it just doesn't quite work for me. And they're all fairly dark songs too. This isn't a happy, and that's what this I Still Miss Somebody is. It's kind of which you guys are right. I mean, it's a great way for her to maybe try to make you a little bit happier at the end of a really dark record, but
it's putting a Band-Aid on the axe wound.
Huh?
It's like putting a tiny Band-Aid on a big axe wound.
Yes. I just have a tough time after everything I listened to on this record to then be able to shift up into, a really positive song. I think I would have done better if she did like a slower song, something like Has Anybody Written Anything for You?
Right.
I think that would have settled me better as a listener.
I was expecting a slow piano song as usual from her to end off a record.
This was a different kind of ending for her, for sure.
Yeah, you've got to divorce that expectation, or you're going to hate the song.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't live up to one of her personal ballads. No.
I feel like this.
Now, if she was to put.
Go ahead, Roland.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Roland. Now,
if she was to put Real Tears on that song, which song would you guys take out to put that song? Would you not have Real Tears on that song, on that record? I would take out Cry Wolf
on any record.
Cry Wolf Tell.
I get rid of Cry Wolf and put on Real Tears. Okay, I feel like I Still Miss Someone does the same thing for the end of this album that Cheaper Than Free does for In Your Dreams. I don't like Cheaper Than Free, but I feel like
that's right. Yeah, it's a very an odd choice. Yeah.
Just like these little songs at the end. I like I Still Miss Someone much better than Cheaper Than Free.
Same here.
Yeah.
I like an Infection in My Foot better than Cheaper Than Free.
That's a stinker.
Okay.
We wrote this one in 20 seconds. I can't believe how great it came out. You're like, oh.
That's right up there with the. Oh, they did the demo of Whole Lot of Trouble, just like.
I want to throw out about 3 things on this song, if I could.
Please do.
I think it's interesting. Number one, it's both an upbeat song to finish the record, and it's not. It is in terms of the melody, but she still misses someone.
Right.
So it's also a very sad song, and maybe it's the saddest. Is it a sad song or is it the saddest? That's the question I would pose to all of you. And not only that, but she really wanted, I think, Bob Dylan himself to sing or play on it. And you know what he said? He said he'd rather not. He respectfully declined, I think.
Isn't that a different song?
No, I think it's this one. And I think if you listen to a little Rockline interview that's on YouTube, I think she talks about it. I think. I could be wrong.
But luckily, we get Bob back a few years from now.
I think that's interesting.
Roland.
The Bob Dylan story was that she asked Bob Dylan, "Oh, Bob, did you write it?" And he says, "Actually, no." And he said Ian and Sylvia Tyson wrote it. And then she found out it wasn't them. It was Johnny Cash who wrote the song.
Okay. May he rested.
I'm not crazy about
Roland.
this.
You're right. I'm totally wrong. I'm flash forwarding to Street Angel on Just Like a Woman.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I actually like the
why I'm going to be making
Emmylou Harris versions better than the Stevie Nicks versions, to be honest.
What album was it on from Emmylou? Was it on Cowgirl's Prayer?
I'm not sure.
You don't know? Okay. I'm a big Emmylou fan. Am I alone in that? All right, cool. Well, closing thoughts. We're all going to rank the album on a scale of 1 to 10. So think of the number in your head, and I'm going to go around and call. Let's start. Just because we've been picking on him the whole time, let's start with Steven. What do you rank this album?
6.5.
Let's go over to Nathan.
8.1.
Alicia.
Really? I don't know. I mean, the cover art works with it.
All about what's in the song.
Somewhere around like 6 or maybe a 7.
Okay. How about you, Jim?
8.5.
Charlie.
7.5.
Roland.
Around a 7, and it's better than Rock a Little.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it an 8 because I feel like those trilogy of the last 3 songs are among Stevie's best. I'm going to give it an 8. You Nathan, you don't feel it's better than Rock a Little?
Do I feel that The Other Side of the Mirror is better than Rock a Little? I feel that it's definitely more cohesive in terms of an overall body of work, and so I would say, is it better? That's kind of a false.
I love them both.
What do they call it, guys? Like a false binary? I don't know exactly. It's. I would say it's definitely just as good as Rock a Little.
Right.
If not better, I would say it's just as good, if not better. If I have to rank things, I might rank it just a point.
I wasn't here for the Rock a Little discussion, but I prefer Rock a Little. I love that album. It's just so much fun.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. I think of like Belladonna and Wild Heart, kind of its sister, albums together. In a way, I kind of put Rock a Little and Other Side of the Mirror together in the fact that they're both very 80s albums. Different kinds of 80s. Like, it's not the same 80s, but it's definitely not a 90s album, and it's not a 70s album. Neither of those. All right, well, friends.
I don't think so.
I'm going to pause, and we'll keep talking for a second. But thank you all for joining me to talk about Stevie Nicks. Make sure to put on your pink dress.
Wow.
No
demos?
Oh, were there any demos for this album?
I like Beautiful Ghost. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Real Tears, of course. Do we like that or not like it?
Like it.
It's a nice song. It's nice.
Good lyrics.
I don't remember it.
If Mirror Mirror there was a Mirror Mirror project and it was scrapped. So Mirror Mirror is kind of part of that era.
Right. Cool.
So I wrote down a bunch of. There's Lily Girl that has from Kenny G on it. Prettiest Girl of the World. Mixed Down's part of this era.
Any of the demos I ever heard from this era, I did not like. Like I remember them being like really. They had a lot of electric piano and adult contemporary, from what I remember.
There was a few songs in the Bullpen were pretty good. I mean, and then they're not on 24 karat. So, Stevie's got some time. I hope she got people together and recorded.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we will be back next month to talk about the 1994. It's very divisive. I love it. I love Street Angels, so I'm ready to talk about this. Yeah. I'm going to pause it so we can still chat for a minute. But thank you to all my Patreon subscribers.
Let's go to that laundromat.
Yeah, let's go to the laundromat and down to the Docklands. I'm going to broadcast live from a laundromat for the next one in honor of Street Angel.
It would be fitting.
That would be fun.
It'd be ironic. And the laundry's going around, and then at half in the middle, you'll put you put another load in. And there we go.
All right, we'll see you all next month.